Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel BIM for Construction. So in last episode of this Navis tutorial series, we have discussed about the object properties, how you can see the properties of any element in your particular Navisworks session, whether it is related to any architecture model categories like ceiling, floor, door, windows, or related to HVAC or your drainage or your firefighting model. For every model elements, you can check the properties and you can get the information from the Navisworks itself. But here still I have received the query that for some element the Navisworks is still not showing the full parameters data and the values associated with those parameters. So what is the reason behind this? We will explain in this today episode. So here as you can see, I am having a one model, same model that I am using for this whole Navisworks tutorial series. So you can see here in the selection tree, we are having two files right now. One is architecture and one is HVAC file. Okay, so if I select architectural file here and if I also turn on the properties tab, so you can see related to this basic wall, we are having a lots of properties. Okay, so you can go and you can search the properties, whatever properties information you need to check as per your requirement. Okay, so all the custom properties you can able to see from the Navisworks itself. You don't need to go to the Revit again and to get this information from there. Similarly, we are having an HVAC file. So for the HVAC also we can simply click and we can check the properties. Okay, but one issue is there in most of the files. It will be there, this issue will be there, and the issue is that if we are selecting this duct, we are getting all the information. Okay, element properties, system type, element ID, whatever properties associated with this particular element, all the properties are available in the Navisworks. Okay, but when I am selecting this mechanical equipment, okay, it can be your FCU, HU, or whatever equipment or whatever model categories, but sometimes you can see here the issue is that we are having only item and element ID, two properties tab option to see. Okay, but when I am checking in my Revit the same file, I am having the Revit also, you can see the same file, I am having the Revit also here. And let's say this FCU we have selected, okay, or the split AC unit you have selected, whatever the category is there, and you can see in the properties of the Revit we are having a lots of custom parameters. We are having a lots of instance parameter, then we are having lots of type parameter also. Okay, so you can see lots of parameters are available there and the values associated with those parameters also available there. You can see like air flow, liquid, suction, all these properties are available in the Revit itself. But why Navisworks is not showing in the Navisworks interface? So issue is that whenever you are working in a Navisworks, first of all, we need to understand that we are in Revit, we are having some families categories. The ducts, cable trays, pipes, whatever families are available inside the Revit, okay, with the help of which we will be starting our modeling. These families are known as the system families. Pipes, okay, cable tray, duct, and architectural wall, everything. These families are system families. So for the system families, they are single element. So whenever you are clicking on the Navisworks, it is selecting that particular single element unit directly. But when we are talking about those equipments, whatever are equipments are there as per your file, plumbing, mechanical, electrical panels, whatever, these are loadable families or the families that we have created from our end. So these families have many nested families, okay, have multiple solids, multiple geometries, connectors. Okay, that's why Navis is not correctly picking a last, we can say the Navis is not correctly picking the first layer of this object, and that's why Navisworks is not showing all these properties in the Navisworks itself. So to correct this one, okay, you don't need to do anything from the Revit, because once you have already exported the Navis from the Revit and you have made this settings turned on, convert element properties for all, it means from the Revit side you are good to go. You didn't make any mistake while exporting from Revit. So these options are already corrected from your end. Make sure these options you have selected while exporting. Okay, after that, if Navis is not showing, then you have to make one setting what setting it is. Let's say this FCU, or we are selecting again here this mechanical equipment. So here after selecting it, you have to make press mouse button right click. After that, once option will be there, selection resolution. Okay, so many selection resolution options are there. You don't need to study all of them and don't need to worry about this. Simply you need to make sure that set selection resolution to first object is checked on. So right now you can see only two properties are visible to us. Once I am selecting this one, select set selection resolution to first object. So what Navisworks will be doing, let's discuss first in the set selection resolution to last object. This is right now, and we are having that only two properties. So in this case, Navisworks select only one solid piece of this full geometry that has no Revit parameters. That's why the parameters are also not available in the properties bar. Okay, that's why this panel looks empty. But whenever we are again right click mouse button, then go to select resolution, click on the set selection resolution to first object. So whenever we are making this selection equals to first object, so Navisworks now will be selecting the main Revit element which carries all Revit parameters. Okay, so you can simply click on this. After that, once you click, now you can check all the parameters are available there. So now you can check the properties of this mechanical equipment. You can check whatever properties you need, custom, everything you can check from here. Airflow and the living wet bulb, entry try bulb, every properties are now available here. So this is how the Navisworks treat the element, and you can change this setting as per your requirement. Okay, and let me quickly explain you also the other resolutions what does mean, but only for you for this issue you have to make sure that you are selecting this one. Other than this, you don't need to do any other changes. If your Revit export from the, if your NWC export from the Revit is correct and you have already checked this property also while exporting. Okay, before that you have to check this properties also. Here you have to check this properties and all here. After that, if you are facing this issue, then you have to simply go to the equipment, then you have to select resolution, select set selection resolution to first object. Okay, and here many more selection resolution are there. If you clicked on this first one, it will directly selecting the first file. So whenever you are selecting the object, it will be selecting this first file, HVAC NWC, the full NWC. Let's say if I am selecting this one, now if I am clicking this mechanical equipment, it will be selecting the full file. Okay, so it will be showing the properties of full file. Now if we clicked again, right click selection resolution to layer. Now if I am selecting this one after HVAC, if I am expanding this selection tree of HVAC file, you can see we are having multiple layers after the main file, that is as per the level. So now if I will be selecting any equipment again, it will be selecting the first layer. Okay, and now if you set it to the first object that we have already discussed, it will be directly selecting this particular object itself. So this is how you can change the selection properties also, and people should know aware about this also, because sometimes I also receive these queries that we are selecting a particular object and the full file is selecting HVAC. Okay, I don't want to select the full file, I want to only select that particular element. So you have to make sure that the selection resolution is set to first object always. This is the preferred and the best one. In this way you will be seeing all the properties related to your objects. Okay, so I hope this video cleared your doubt. Thanks for watching.